Millions of people use an air fryer every day, but many still make small mistakes. There are 5 common mistakes, and today we're going to address each of them. The first mistake is the one I see most often, trying to cook too much food at once. I know why people do it. We all want to save time, especially when we're cooking for the whole family. Unfortunately, that's exactly what causes many meals to turn out disappointing. When food is stacked on top of itself or packed too tightly together, it blocks the airflow inside the air fryer. That moving air is what creates the crispy exterior we all love. The result: instead of crispy food, you get soft spots. Some pieces become overcooked while others are still pale or undercooked. The texture becomes uneven and the entire meal suffers. The solution is actually very simple. Arrange your food in a single layer whenever possible. Leave a little space between the pieces so the hot air can circulate freely around each one. And if you regularly cook for a large family, you may want to consider using an air fryer with a larger basket. Trust me, once you stop overcrowding your air fryer, you'll immediately notice crispier, more evenly cooked food every single time. Do you usually cook for just yourself, or are you feeding a whole family? Let me know in the comments. Mistake number 2 is incredibly common, especially when you're in a hurry: putting frozen meat straight into the air fryer. It seems convenient. As the frozen meat begins to heat up, it releases a large amount of moisture. Instead of roasting, the meat spends the first part of the cooking process surrounded by steam. Fortunately, there's a simple fix. Instead of immediately cooking at a high temperature, start by thawing the meat gently inside the air fryer. Set the temperature to about 175 degrees Fahrenheit, 80 degrees Celsius, and let it warm slowly for around 20 minutes. This allows the meat to thaw evenly without shocking the outside with intense heat. Once completely thawed, the meat can be grilled as usual. Then increase the temperature to your normal cooking setting and continue air frying as usual. The difference is remarkable. The meat cooks much more evenly from edge to center. The outside turns beautifully golden, the edges become lightly crisp, and the inside stays juicy and tender. It takes a little more patience, but the final result looks and tastes exactly the way you hoped it would. Mistake number 3 has to do with something many of us use everyday: parchment paper. Parchment paper is great for keeping the air fryer clean, but placing it directly under your food can actually work against you. Here's why. An air fryer works by circulating hot air around the food. If you line the entire bottom with parchment paper and place the food directly on top, the airflow is blocked, causing the underside to cook less evenly and become less crispy. The good news is that fixing this mistake is easy. Instead of placing the food directly on the parchment paper, lay the parchment paper in the bottom of the basket first. Then place the cooking rack or crisper tray on top of it. Now arrange your food on the rack. This simple change allows hot air to circulate freely above, below, and around the food. The excess grease can drip through the rack onto the parchment paper below, leaving the food lighter and crispier. When the cooking is finished, cleanup is just as easy. Simply remove the parchment paper with the collected grease and discard it. The rack may need a quick wash, but the basket stays much cleaner, making cleanup faster than scrubbing baked-on grease later. Once you fix this mistake number 4, I think you'll actually enjoy using your air fryer a lot more. After a meal, the basket is often covered with baked-on grease, dried juices, and stubborn food residue. As soon as you've finished cooking and basket is still warm, add a small squeeze of dish soap. Then pour in enough warm water to cover the bottom of the basket. Let it soak for about 15 minutes. During that time, the warm water and dish soap begin loosening the grease and softening the dried-on food particles. What would normally require heavy scrubbing now starts lifting away on its own. After soaking, use a soft sponge or non-abrasive brush to wipe the basket clean. You'll be surprised by how easily the residue comes off. And most importantly, much less risk of damaging the non-stick surface. Taking just 15 minutes to soak the basket can save you much more time and effort later. I'm curious, which part do you dislike more, cooking or cleaning the air fryer afterward? Let me know in the comments. Mistake number 5 is one that almost everyone makes at some point. Trusting the preset cooking programs too much. Those buttons are convenient, but they're only meant to be general guidelines. A preset can't tell whether your chicken wing is thick or thin, and it certainly doesn't know whether your food came straight from the refrigerator or has been sitting at room temperature. Instead, think of the preset as a starting point. Then make small adjustments based on what you're cooking. If your food is smaller than usual, keep the same temperature but reduce the cooking time slightly. On the other hand, if you're cooking a larger amount of food, keep the temperature the same, but allow a few extra minutes. You'll end up with food that's cooked through without burning the outside. The more you use your air fryer, the more you'll learn to adjust the settings for your own recipes instead of relying completely on the presets. And that's when your results become consistently better. I hope these simple tips help you get crispier food, easier cleanup, and much better results every time you use your air fryer. If you found even one of these mistakes helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who loves cooking with an air fryer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.